Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 930. Hello, it is Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Today, it is the return of the much-loved news segment, Do You Know Dat?, where we'll look at an interesting story you didn't know, having to do with today's culture and food and whatnot. Plus, we hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle
Mike's Daily Podcast
Player, and the Brewmaster. I like to cook on a griddle.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That's a lie. I don't have a griddle. I cook in a crock pot mostly. On Friday, I had one of the funnest days of recent memory. I met some friends and we drank at a brewery. And I brought my dog, Basil. And beforehand, we hiked around a nice bit of public territory with nice scenery near Facebook on the edge of Redwood City. Then I met some friends after that, and we did some karaoke.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Then my friends gave me a bunch of ice cream. Tweet
Mike's
ice cream.
Daily
Dark beer.
Podcast.
Nachos.
Yeah!
Yes, that's what I had. It's a wonder I could get out of bed the next day and that diabetes didn't kick in whilst I slept. Oh, and the new Doctor Who episode was both good and irritating. I explain in the segment Mike's absolutely useless review. Or Mayor. No HAYLEY today. Next show. Most likely. More than likely. We'll see. Probably. Ah! Look who just walked in. Hi, Mike! It's Benita the Rodeo Queen! How y'all doing?
It's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
So you drink beer and eat nachos? Now that's my kind of living right there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Mike, I thought you said you'd never gonna use that expression, I know, right? Yeah, I did. Dang it. It's just so catchy. Everybody does it. And it's just so it's been around. You know, I used to think it was a relatively recent phenomena, that phrase, I know, right? But actually it began way back in the 90s because I caught it in an episode of Friends. The Courtney Cox character says it. So I was like, whoa, this predates the millennials and everybody. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and this was a cool place we hiked over across from Facebook. Ooh, I'm going to look this up as I'm talking to you. And making noises. It's called Bedwell Bayfront Park. Yes, it's it's right along the Ravenswood Slough, and you walk along. It's next to Bayfront Expressway. And Facebook, of course, has their thing. Apparently, Sun Microsystems something used to own that building before Facebook did. I did not realize that, but my friend Terry told me that. I guess it was built for something else before Facebook. And now Facebook built, though, a huge building catty corner from it, directly across from the thumb billboard that you see that people now stand in front of, and they put sand, a little sandbox, like in front of the Facebook thumb, so now people have somewhere to stand and that they're not ruining the grass that they have there. I wonder if they actually have parking for them. Last time when we did this back in 2012, when we stopped and got our pictures taken, and my cousin from Germany, Ann-Katrine, who you hear at the beginning of the show, go, Mike's Daily Podcast? She and I took a picture in front of there. That was back in 2012, and yes, it was still grass then, and we had to like park illegally to do it, so I hope they've put in parking since then, because I wasn't proud of breaking the law, I'll have to tell you. But Facebook has built a huge building across the street from there now, and I am told that that is residential area on Bayfront Parkway Expressway. Look who else just walked in.
Hello, Mike. I make the root beer. I'm the brewmaster.
Brewmaster, what do you think about all this Facebook talk?
What's that?
Facebook, it's that thing. It's and then, yeah, so you can check that out, too. It's a great way if you ever got people visiting, or if you yourself are visiting the Bay Area and you want to see Facebook from an interesting angle, and you want to walk around a nice park that's got like a little like botanical garden area and everything, and it's free to the public, Bedwell Bayfront Park. Check it out.
Mike's absolutely useless review.
Doctor Who is back. The debut episode of the season was on Saturday evening, last night. I have to tell you, I was not that impressed. I really wasn't. I love the characters, but it is so wearing thin. Even Missy is wearing thin. Her little Mary Poppins, demonic Mary Poppins that she does. She's you know, the master. And so she kills some people, and then they got Davros in there, and it's just, I don't know if I can force myself to watch this season. Last season had its moments. And I love Peter Capaldi. He's an amazing actor, and he adds a lot of cool personality to the Doctor. They took it in interesting directions last season, but like all the romance that they built up between Jenna and Pink, it ended so sadly and tragically. Is this the way Stephen Moffat will take us this time again? Another big tragedy trail? I don't know if I can take it. Let's see. Should I give away anything else about Doctor Who? Most people don't even know what Doctor Who is. Okay. Well, Davros is the head of the Daleks. So we find out at the very beginning that Peter Capaldi, the 12th Doctor, has now met Davros as a kid. And rather than save him, he's in a precarious situation. Ooh, that was good. Hand mines. That was very Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Hand mines. There are these hands that have eyes where the palms are, a la Logan's Run. Well, they didn't have eyes in their palms, but they had the little gem that told them everybody when they were expired. But the hands will try and find you, grab your leg, and then pull you underground, and you're dead. So Davros is stuck in a field of these, and we're I guess to find out later what happens after this point. All we know is, and that's the thing, Stephen Moffat, his whole deal is giving you little bits of information. And then he works backwards, and he does this Christopher Nolan thing that I'm just getting tired of it. It's like, okay, all right, you've dragged this out so far, so long. Doctor Who fans are going to be, oh, but that's cool, Mike. Oh, but it's so, it creates attention. I'm done with this. I'm just done. You know what? I guess that's the way Doctor Who's got to be. Stephen Moffat admitted in a recent video post that that's how he writes. He writes in a way that gets people in the door, he says. Gets them in the door so that they'll walk in the door and that they won't leave. They won't decide to turn off the channel. And that's all what he gives. He gives little bits, little pieces, little Reese's pieces to string along the ET in his stories. So my absolutely useless review is I wasn't a fan of it. But now I have to watch what the next episode, because it's a two-parter. Find out more and probably get even more frustrated.
Mark, I like that review. That was full of angst.
It was. I was full of angst just then, wasn't I? Mark, that was fun, you being full of angst. I gotta go. Bye, I gotta look up that word.
It's Bison Bentley's Do You Know Dat?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley, and Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself, do you know that? Do you know that? Do you know that? Do you know that?
My heroes have always been cowboys, and they still are, it seems.
Willie Nelson.
Sadly,
my heroes, my superheroes have always been superhero cowboys or cowgirls or supergirls. Supergirl. It's going to be a TV show. Whereas a lot of the superhero TV shows have been focusing mainly on guys a la Flash, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, I guess there's some female superheroes in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but now Supergirl is going to be coming to CBS October 26th. It's the first female superhero show of the 21st century. Yes, we had superhero shows in the past like Wonder Woman and Policewoman. Wait, that wasn't a superhero. So showrunner Greg Berlanti, who did, he's also worked on The Flash. He has to get this to work, Supergirl. He says, I hear it more and more how desperate and excited people are to have a female hero. This according to the Time magazine. Here are 5 secrets for helping Supergirl take off. Stay gender neutral. He says it's an action show that happens to have a female lead. We paid no attention to gender in terms of proportion of action to drama to romance. Another secret to making Supergirl work is cast the right person. Glee's Melissa Benoist is an unexpectedly amusing presence as Supergirl. Annie Hall in a cape, basically, says Time. When I saw her audition, says Greg, I just found myself giggling uncontrollably. You always believe what she's doing. The original Superman film was a touchstone. You could have a charming hero without meaning the show felt soft. Don't be afraid to borrow, he says. In her civilian identity, Kara Danvers, Supergirl works for a media magnate who bears a distinct resemblance to Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. Homages help ground these worlds because people are familiar with the elements, he says. Which means, of course, that you don't have to explain a bunch of stuff, backstory and whatnot, and people's attention nowadays is so quick, they're not even listening to the show. But they, they're so ADD world, and you've got to explain things like super quick. Stephen Moffat said something about that earlier in the show. Keep Superman off screen. He says, quote, thank God for a show like Veep. You're like, where's the president? And then you finally realize you're more interested in her story. In that case, the Veep story, which was played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So no Superman in this. So don't even wonder about it, I guess. Just like in the, there's no mention of Superman in the other DC superhero shows. Well, actually, they do kind of. In the Flash season, the first season of Flash, that starred Brandon Routh, who played Superman in that movie back in the late O's, mid-O's, with Kevin Spacey and everybody. Kate Bosworth. He plays the Atom in the TV show The Flash or Arrow, actually. Well, both. He crossed over to both of them, and now he's going to be in some other show that they're spinning off. So, yeah, whatever.
Rainbow still, silver spoon, eat that sky blue. I'll be drinking that free bubble up, eating some rainbow stew.
Rainbow stew. Sounds delicious. Is it good for you, though? What's good for you? What makes you super? What's hero food? That's Merle Haggard, by the way. Jamie Oliver. You got to eat something that's healthy. He has 14 hero foods that help you live to 100. He names goat's milk, black beans, and seaweed among ingredients that should be in everyone's kitchen. He's traveled the world compiling a list of 14 hero ingredients, according to the dailymail.co.uk. In his new TV series, he unveils tips that can help people live a longer life and includes limiting meat to 2 portions a week and consuming the majority of your calories in the first half of the day. Do 2 things already wrong there on his list. He has this diet is supposed to help you live to 100. He's traveled the world compiling a list of 14 hero ingredients, including simple products such as fish and eggs, which he says should take pride of place in everyone's kitchen. Pride of place. It should take pride of place. He also lists them as the 40-year-old says, tofu, black bean, sweet potato, chilies. He found certain dietary habits were common across the healthy places of the world. This included limiting meat intake to 2 to 3 portions a week. He said this is healthy because meat tends to be higher in saturated fats than other protein sources. That's not so much good for you. He also found in healthier cultures, people tended to have larger breakfasts and a smaller dinner. He says, when I've gone around the world to see the people that live the longest and most productive life, they all have a good breakfast. The majority of us use all our energy during the day. We require energy in the morning and the afternoon rather than having a big bulk of calories when we are only going to be resting and going to bed. What's that old expression? You should eat like a person in the morning, a king in the morning, like a pauper in the afternoon, and in the evening eat like you're like nothing. It goes something like that, that expression. So I guess the show is called Jamie's Superfoods. And he does not look... I don't know. These pictures of him, he doesn't look that fit. So, I mean, like, you expect him to be like this super Adonis guy. But he just looks like a normal guy. So, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. So, I guess these are foods to help you look normal. Excellent. Didn't he used to be the naked chef? I don't want to see him naked.
I'll be drinking free bubble up, eating that rainbow stew.
As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And the podcast picture is of the very scenic Sausalito. Now, it has an interesting sunset because the sun actually sets behind Sausalito. The ocean is behind Sausalito on the other side of this mountain. And so you don't actually see the sunset, but it makes the sky really nice, and you get a nice view of the city. I don't know, it's just... Anyway, there's a picture. You can see what I mean in the picture. Look it up there at mikesdailypodcast.com. And maybe go to Sausalito when the sun is setting. I take the ferry there. I will take Bart to the Embarcadero, to the ferry building, then hop on the ferry, go to Sausalito, spend the day there, then head back around the evening time during the sunset. It's lovely. And then if you get a Clipper card here in the Bay Area, that's good for all public transportation. You got to link it up, though, the right way.